I'd like to call to order the meeting of the City of Columbiana Planning Commission on September 10th, 2019. I'd like you all to rise for the invocation and the pledge of allegiance.
Lord, we acknowledge your presence among us tonight, and we pray for your guidance during this meeting. Give us the wisdom to work in the best interest of everyone in our community. In your name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You've all received a copy. Oops, excuse me. I'd like to ask Deanne to do the roll.
Okay, so we have a mic on? Yep. Scott?
Here.
Donna? Here. Rick?
Here.
Tucker?
Here.
Brian?
Here. Okay, now, you've all received a copy of the minutes from the August 13, 2019 meeting. Are there any questions or comments on the meeting minutes? Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve them. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, the minutes are approved. There's no old business, and we're going to move to our new business items. First of all, we have a site plan review for Eric Liber. Would like the Planning Commission to give him pre-approval to build a storage facility at 331 Fairfield Avenue, pending the decision from the Board of Zoning Appeals about the lot size. Is Eric here? Yeah. Come forward. Talk to us about your project.
It's right by the railroad tracks and request from Rutgers. Pretty much no residential there, except for one house that's beside my lot. I can't really think of anything else to do with the property. House burned down in 2016, and seems like it's the best way to invest to try to make it worth something for me too.
So you currently live in the lot next to it?
No.
Okay, so you currently own the house lot next to it, or you bought this lot?
The lot, I had a house there, I bought it in 2011. It was a rental property, and fortunately, the renters put a bunch of electric heaters in it because they didn't pay their gas bill, and it sparked an electrical fire and burned down in December of 2016.
Okay.
So the house has been torn down, the land's been reclaimed, but it just sits there. I pay my taxes on it and stuff, but I kind of wanted to make some money off of it. I need some storage for one of my companies,
okay.
And instead of building just a small storage for it, I thought I might as well build something big and actually produce an income off of it.
Okay.
Well, why are we going about this in reverse order instead of going to the Board of Zoning Appeals first?
I'm just following the guidance, but I don't have an answer for that.
The Board of Zoning Appeals wants your opinion if we went there, vice versa.
I'll give you my opinion. I went through a few things looking at it, and I understand the need to make income off the property, but we're seeming to be the appeals board is because of something, working industry or something that we're trying to help fit in this property. It says an industrial lot where 1 acre, we're only 0.17 of an acre, so we're way under what our standard requirements are. Our minimum lot width is 150 feet. We're at 50 foot. So again, we're 1/3 of what's required. And then putting a 30-foot unit in it with a 15-foot driveway on each side. A typical roadway is 24 feet per side for two-way traffic. So if we put this in, you literally have a one-way drive on both sides of it without. And if someone was parked in that drive, they couldn't get around the building and getting their stuff in and out.
Well, you know what, I would hate to say, well, I would approve putting this building there, and then, they come along and say, well, we can't give you the kind of, what they feel he can do with that lot, and then he can decide what he wants to do. Because he may be able to not have as many,
If you don't even come close to meeting any of it.
I know.
And that's, I think, what they're coming to us for recommendations on. And the other problem that you run into is the property next to it, even though it's industrial, it's a residential property,
Oh, okay.
okay? And we're pushing up against a residential property that has a bunch of more restrictions on it when you put in. So, I mean, I definitely understand the need. I think mini storage is a good spot, but my personal opinion is the lot is way too small for what you want to do. And granted, it's all zoned industrial, but there is a residential house next to the property right now. And, you bought it knowing that it was an industrial property. You bought it knowing that you only put a certain percentage of it into it. Because what we try to do is, if it's zoned out of state, okay, I think Columbiana, the rule is, if you buy a property, you only put half of it or a quarter of it back into it, if it's out of zone. So, I mean, we all knew that buying that. So yes, it needs to be industrial, but it's too small a lot to try to put what you're looking to put in it.
That's
My
my
opinion.
thought. Well, the way it is, I mean,
Yeah,
that many.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve as submitted, just so we can have further discussion on this.
Okay, there's a motion to approve as submitted, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, there's a motion second. Now we have a motion on the floor that, is stated, as stated in the agenda. So now let's have further discussion.
Yeah, I guess my concern is the order in which this is happening. Above and beyond the size restrictions, I don't think we should get in the habit of approving something before the proper board gives the variance. I mean, to me, it makes, if that's what we're gonna do, we don't need that other board.
Well, sometimes things do come before this board, that then end up going to, the board of zoning appeals. However, this one is going totally backwards.
Well, yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is, I mean, if the board of zoning appeals is looking for our direction, then
Well, don't we need to reject it first for the Board of Zoning Appeals to review it?
Yeah, right.
that's why I was gonna, that's why I made the motion, because if you're,
Yeah.
you vote no,
Okay.
and then you can feel it.
Do you see what he's saying about how much of
Yeah.
the dimensions do not fit with the terms outlined?
Yeah, I understand completely what you're saying. I mean, it's not a storage unit in a city, city limits. You don't see it really anywhere. There's a reason for that. I feel like it's a little bit of a special property because of its location. I mean, there's literally one house and then nothing. It's just, Rector's, the train tracks, the dealership there. You know, it's kind of a rare property, I think. I'm not sure what else. I don't feel like it's a good investment to do a residential property there, but I can't build a house there.
Because, tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I've dealt with this in the past. If you buy something that's zoned wrong, okay, your spot zoned in for what your grandfather did in terms, and you're only allowed to spend a certain percentage what you bought it for to put back into it. Is that right, Augie?
He could, if the house burned down, he could destroy it and do away with it, as long as it was less than 75%, he could.
Right, but 75, as long as you spend less than 75% of what you bought it for.
There's a percentage, I think.
There's a percentage of it, you can only put so much.
But there's nothing there, so it's.
Right. So that
House
was,
is torn down.
right, yes.
There's nothing there.
They do that so that they try to push the zone, if something happens to it, they try and push it back to the original zone and area that it's supposed to be, from my understanding of this, because I've dealt with that in the past.
Eric, part of your reason to want to build that is to store some of your own equipment, correct, the way your business is?
Mhm.
Is there any reason you couldn't build a smaller garage,
He doesn't meet any of the requirements.
to re-erect anything there?
According to this, he doesn't meet any of the minimum requirements. Typically, industrial property is not 0.17 acres. I mean, that's the problem
Right there.
right there. You have an industrial property that's 0.17 acres, which is basically a residential sized lot zoned as an industrial property.
Which was probably grandfathered in the first place.
Right. and that house was fine there, and you probably got a good deal when you bought it, and it probably made you good money, but as soon as that got destroyed, okay, it basically wipes the slate clean again.
Maybe there's something they know in their code that they could, like, grant some sort of variance to you. I doubt it, but.
Mike, the reason why I tell the story is because we had a house across from one of our yards on Pittsburgh Street, and the guy had bought it, okay, there were a couple of them that had bought down there. The guy bought it as an investment to fix it up, he went to go fix it up, and the city stopped him because he bought it for maybe $15,000, and he only put $7,500 into it, 50%, or whatever that number is, into it. And the guy realized he couldn't do it, and the city stopped him. So then basically a house had to get torn down to turn into vacant industrial property to remove, push the zoning back to what it's supposed to be. So I've had experience with it. I was on the better side of it, not on the rough side of it.
Augie, you know anything that we could do?
That's, if you go to the board of zoning appeals, there's just nothing else you're gonna do with that lot. You can't put a house, and, you know, it's by the tracks, who's gonna live there anyhow?
You know what, I would,
It's just, I thought maybe it was a good idea, he just doesn't have enough room. But what, along them tracks, what better thing, you know, than, you know, storage units? But unfortunately, you know,
I don't know, it doesn't work much anything through the field, so maybe they can rescue some money to go, or maybe they know more than we know, because I don't know anything about.
We're just in an awkward situation,
Right.
people have, like.
Yeah, it's not, it has nothing to do with wanting to punish you.
Yeah.
We have to follow the code, or else every time someone comes in front of us, and the precedent's been set,
That's the problem.
where do we stop? Where's the line?
And we're not close, that's the problem, it's not like it's
Exactly.
it's not like it's close. We had a guy put together, and they just combined an empty lot with an alley to get it in line.
Right.
The problem is we're just so far off on that.
Right.
Okay, is there any other comments? Anybody have some? Okay, I'd like to call the roll on this motion.
Scott? Donna? Rick?
No.
Tucker?
No.
Brian?
No. Sorry.
Sorry.
Sorry, I killed my light.
Okay, the next item is the site plan review. Jessica Rome and Ivy Hostetter seek the planning commission's approval to open a beauty salon at 20 South Main Street, formerly Vivian's Antiques. And you want to state your name?
I am Jessica Rome. Unfortunately, my partner is still with the client right now, so she's not able to be here, but I'll be representing us today.
Okay.
So you're not busy, she couldn't come.
We are that busy.
Okay. Want to tell us a little bit what your thinking is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are looking to found Salon Empyreum. It will be the first booth rental salon that'll be available in this area.
Excuse me, say that again, please.
Sorry, it'll be the first booth rental salon that'll be available in this area. There are generally two different types of salons. There are commission-based and there are booth rental-based.
Okay.
So this will allow basically small business owners to be working on the street down there. We are super excited about the space. We are very excited to be right on the main street in Columbiana. I think that it will help generate a lot of foot traffic in the area, especially since we're taking clients everywhere from like 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. It gets a lot of foot traffic in. Yeah, I don't know. We're hoping to be a full-service salon spa, so we will offer everything for hair, nails, and skin. I don't know if anybody has any questions about what that would entail. Yeah.
Do you have to have anything for like ventilating, if you're doing nails and all that?
Yes, we do.
Now, all of that, is it already in there, or?
It is not. So we have to go through a little bit of construction, but we've had consultants come in from plumbing, electric, HVAC, and then we'll have to have the cosmetology state board come in 90 days after we open, or within 90 days after we open.
And you're properly licensed, I assume?
Yes, I am. I'm a managing cosmetologist.
So you're operating one right now somewhere else, and you're moving it, or is it another store?
I am currently employed as a hairdresser somewhere else.
Okay,
So this will be an entirely new business.
okay.
Been reporting her name for a while.
Yeah, please. It'll be coming back on here.
That's why your partner's hard to get here.
Partner exit.
Does your partner, Jessica, does your partner have any previous experience with running a salon?
No, she, is a booth renting stylist though right now, so she's been essentially running her own business within a business so far. And then I will be a fourth generation business owner, so I'm excited to kind of take up the family lineage for that.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
So you're gonna do more of running it rather than actually having clients, or you're gonna be doing both?
I will be the person who's doing more of the running.
Okay.
So I'll be on the business aspect of stuff and really handling our paperwork, being the person who's in there day in, day out, making sure the operations are good. I still will be behind the chair, but that won't be my primary source of, my primary source of income.
And, this agreement's worked out with you're gonna lease the space, do I assume?
Yes.
And this is all,
Yep, we've
It
already
worked
signed
out
the lease with Roland. He's super excited to have us. Actually, this is wife's hair, so she's really excited that I'm gonna be there.
any other questions?
Thoughts, concerns, excitement? No, I'm ready to go.
You have a pretty big office space here, Jessica. Is this all yours?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
It's gonna be about 3,500 square feet. We're hoping to have somewhere between 12 and 16 girls that are working there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ambitious, but there's the clientele here to support it. And actually, there's a vacuum right now. There's not enough hairstylists in Columbiana to support the population that's here. So a lot of you guys have to go to board and
Well, I remember when Sean was over there.
Yeah.
Great, yeah.
They just need hair.
yeah, grows on everyone.
We don't know that.
I could hear a motion.
I will make the motion to discuss,
I'll second that.
the site plan review, scientific role and high.
Okay, and there's a second by Scott. Any further questions or comments?
I love
Very
devil's
nice.
advocates.
Pardon?
I love devil's advocates if anybody has anything.
I mean, it fits the zoning.
That's right, it does.
So, hearing none, I call the roll.
Donna,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Tucker,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Alright, thank you.
Congratulations. Good luck to
Good luck to
you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, those are all the, items that are, have been presented tonight. Are there any commission comments? Anybody up here have any comments? They can make?
On the way over, I seen on the way over that, is it stoplight graphics, was that the one we just approved several months ago? He's got it all painted up, got that corner dude all painted up, ready to go.
I was in there on Oxford and working.
Yeah, they were hustling over the weekend, or a couple weekends ago, they were really hustling in there.
Good.
It's nice to see.
One thing I'd like to say is, I found out, the company that's building out in the industrial park, that we have some relationship with ICE International Construction Equipment. They were looking for a place around, and they dealt with somebody that Columbiana founded and made the parts for them, and I didn't know that. And when they were looking for a local spot to build a facility, Columbiana founded recommended Columbiana as a spot to build a facility. That's kind of why International Construction is located here.
Great.
Columbiana founded for being a positive role model in the community.
Good. Great, good. Thank you. Anybody else? I just want to make one comment. A couple of meetings ago, we had an issue where somebody came to the last moment to get on the agenda to discuss something. And kind of put us, we were trying to decide what we were going to do about that. And, we worked from the assumption that they get to you at least 1 week prior to the meeting, correct? Augie, that's our policy.
Right.
That they come about 1 week before, so we can get the agendas, all of us can get the information like we had tonight, so we could evaluate projects. I would just like to reiterate that I think, from what I understand, and I want to say this out loud so we're clear, if somebody comes to Augie, late, and comes to him, I think the position should be, like you stated at the last meeting, we're welcome to hear anything at any meeting. However, I think we as a body, as a commission, have reserved the right to postpone or not act on something that is not given within a week's time. And I think, I just want to say that out loud so everybody understands that, because we had some confusion about how we wanted to handle that situation. But I think it's very important that we have the opportunity to review the information prior to us making a decision. So is there any questions or comments about that? That all sounds, that's the way the rest of you see it?
I agree with you, and we've been doing that on council for probably the last 8 or 9 years, and
Right.
it works out well. I mean, it's one thing to hear something, but it's another to have to react and
Exactly.
vote on
Right.
something that could affect other people without having the time and due diligence.
The due diligence part is crucial. And I just want to state it out. I don't want somebody to come in 3 months from now and go, well, you didn't deal with my issue because you don't like me or whatever. No, it's because we want to do diligence, in making a good decision. And we don't think it's fair to Augie to ask him to jump through hoops to try to get something. I mean, I know he's made an effort on several occasions to bring in change the agenda and bring somebody in. And I don't think the city should be in a position to have to do that. I don't think Augie should feel obligated whatsoever to try to hurry up and to make something fit.
No, but on the Aubers, I think it's one of the things that we're known for is being pretty easy to work with.
And that's true.
If it's something that's pretty black and white,
Exactly.
that's why I think it would make sense to still be able to hear from someone.
Exactly.
Right, I agree with what Rick said, that it's good to hear
Yes.
what the person is intending. It's nice to know that Eric would like something in
Yeah.
there. And it would be great
Understand the
if,
situation.
the zoning board could come up with something for him. So, I mean, it's good to know these things, but,
Yeah, it's never good for any of us to turn anything away, or to
Right.
send you out of here without what you want. I mean,
Right.
we want to approve what we can, we want the city growing in every way we can, we don't want to tell someone no.
I'm from business, so I can greatly appreciate how much you guys try to grow this.
But
We'll kick a guy trying to sell ice cream out because the roads aren't good enough or something,
Yeah.
but like they're terrible.
we try to make everything fit that we can.
and I certainly hope that you can find something to do
Well,
with.
based off of what Tucker was saying with the financial restrictions, so I did the all houses, I bought it for $11,000, so. I can buy a lawnmower for it, and I'll push it, pretty much pointless, but. And when I bought it, I was like 27 years old, so I didn't care about zoning, I bought a house to rent and make money off of,
Right.
Okay, I'm glad we had that statement out here.
The only thing I'd like to state is that we then jumped through hoops for this individual that was a professional that should have known better, okay? And I don't think they've done anything since that point, okay? I don't think a footer's been put in, I don't think a foundation's been done. And we all took time out of our busy schedules. First of all, I don't like how we were dealt with, okay, and disrespected. And then second of all, we jumped through hoops to try to be accommodating,
We actually
okay?
had a special meeting for it.
We had a special meeting for this person, okay? And there's not a reason because I'm somewhat of a competitor and that I have a distaste. It's not because of that. But the point is we all took time out of our busy schedules to help this happen, okay? And I expected the foundations to be started immediately because
Well, I did too.
that's what was to be pushed. So we have to pay attention to when we do these special meetings and why we do
I
them,
agree.
okay? Because we are not just the bend over back. I mean, I deal with this all the time through permits, and we're probably one of the easiest groups. A little bit and so let's stay along our path, but let's put a little bit more cautiousness to when we jump through the hoop for something that's not necessary.
That's right. I totally agree with that. And I kind of want to say this because I don't think we should ask the city employees to be jumping through a bunch of hoops that they, we have procedures and policies and structures and we need to stay with them. That's been one of the successes here in Columbiana over the years because we stayed with the rules
And they'll continue to be potential challenges moving forward as we grow.
It's an enviable position to be in.
Yes.
Not a bad thing.
Problem.
That's exactly right. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Okay, any other commission comments? If not, anybody out here in the public want to make any statements?
Oh, we have are you the partner again?
Yeah.
Partner line, no name.
Well, we got food.
She threw you under the bus though for a while. I tried to get her to, though.
Anybody else have any comments to the council members here tonight? No comments from them? Somebody else have a comment? Okay, thank you. If I hear none, I call for adjournment. Is there a motion? Move, meeting's adjourned.